that. Now you know the impression is there, minus emotion and feeling. Impression as a memory, as a thought is there, but it is not causing any problem to us. So, yeah, that is a memory of the mind. So, memory of the mind is there, but it is not causing any delusion, it is not causing any foolishness, and that is another way to see the sign of the progress. In that state, we experience a sense of equanimity. I see the event happening in front of me. So the mind is not superimposing. Mind is not superimposing its authority through the false eye on my life. Hence, a state of calmness is there. But those subtle impressions, let it be there. It's a memory of the mind. Memory of the mind. So, what
I
is.
had
I
a.
had a.
Do you mind
Do
if
you
I
mind if I
chime in
chime
on
in
one
on
more
one more
thing, which
thing,
was
which was
like,
like,
it was
it was
kind of,
kind of,
usually the
usually the
simple
simple
things or
things or
something,
something,
maybe.
maybe.
But I
But I
thought,
thought,
okay, when I
okay, when I
close
close
my
my
eyes,
eyes,
my
my
awareness,
awareness,
it
it
expands,
expands,
kind of,
kind of,
I don't
I
know
don't
to
know to
what
what
end,
end,
right? There's
right? There's
no
no
end.
end.
Uh,
Uh,
and if we
and if
just
we
took
just took
that
that as an,
as it
as it
is,
is,
right? Like
right?
if
Like
I
if
was
I was
just the
just the
body
body
contained
contained
within it,
within
if
it,
I
if I
closed my
closed my
eyes,
eyes, I would be,
it would
it would
stop,
stop,
like
right
here.
here.
But I
But I
realized
realized
just in the
just in
act
the
of
act of
closing the
closing the
eyes
eyes
and
and
looking at
looking
it,
at
you
it,
can
you can
prove that
prove
you're
that you're
what you
what you
are,
are,
right? Because
right?
when
Because
you
when you
open your
open your
eyes,
eyes, you
that
that
hologram that
hologram that
happens, that
happens, that
projection, all
projection,
these
all these
things.
things.
But when you
But when you
close your
close your
eyes, you're
eyes, you're
permeating
permeating
everywhere.
everywhere.
It's just
It's
right
just
there
right
in
there
front
in
of
front
you.
of you.
Uh,
Yes.
and it
And it
struck me
struck me
that,
that,
oh,
oh,
there it
there
is.
it is.
Like,
Like,
there I
there I
am,
am,
right?
right? You
In a
see
in a
the
very
very
basic way,
basic
but
way,
it's
but
like
it's like
kind of
kind
like,
of like,
wow, that
wow,
was
that was
surprising.
surprising.
Been there the
Been there
whole
the whole
time.
time. Whole time. Yeah, you see what happens? We use many metaphors to understand it. The wave to the water. All waves is nothing but the water. In the beginning, I'm a wave. Now I close my eyes and I experience the water everywhere. Again, I open my eyes and I see some kind of individuality which is different and separate from the entire world outside. So metaphors are very near to conceive and perceive the reality, but I have yet to recognize and experience that state which is permanent in me, and that is why we are studying all this. Metaphor is not very equal. I don't experience. I experience that oneness, expanded consciousness. I open my eyes and now I see. So still there are some challenges that is covered by the Krishna from the 7th chapter, that universal consciousness, transcendental consciousness, individual consciousness, how they interact, and can I live into that state all the time? So that is why in the three verses Master says you should have that higher consciousness in all the beings, and you perceive unity in diversity. You perceive one water in all the different waves of different length, of intensity, of power, long list. So it's a so what why we are doing it? We are asking the mind, is it possible to perceive the world outside differently? Answer is yes. When with the false eye I see a girl and then I'm infatuated, then I see the girl as an object of my pleasure, then I see my honey, I have a different perception. When I see the mother, I have a different perception. So, where is the problem? The problem is happening in the mind because of the memory since my birth. I have been heavily conditioned by the culture, by the society, so long. So we are deconditioning. That very deconditioning is entering into a higher consciousness. Because when I decondition my mind, then the mind recognizes from where this light of consciousness is coming. From where it is coming from one supreme consciousness. So that is why when I close my eyes, I experience that sense of expansion. Can I experience the same expansion here and now without doing anything? So the
I
master
also
is.
realized there's no center.
Yeah,
For
there is
some
no
reason, we
center.
want to give a center, but if you close your eyes, where do you really think it is? It's not anywhere. Right? That's,
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true or not, but when I close my eyes, I can force a center, right? My mind says, oh, I'm inside my head or something. But really, it's just awareness, plain and simple.
yeah, yeah. But that you have reached to that after listening and learning so many things.
Oh, I mean, and not even intentionally, I just hit me one day. I thought, oh, wow,
Yes.
I haven't, it's been gradual. I've seen a gradual change in the last couple of weeks, I think. Even like driving or going on a like it's a joyful experience doing really basic things. I was driving thinking like I'm not moving, right? But like everything's moving. And I had the very clear sensation that I was sitting there not moving. Oh, I don't know. Like, and it was a joyful experience in a
Yes,
way.
it is a deeper state of meditation. So it means that we can enter into that deeper state of meditation without any practice. It is just by getting rid of the false perception, projections, superimpositions, and once we get rid of it, we continue to have the same vision. That is what the Master has been saying in the 29th verse. In 30th verse, he says the micro level, eternal connection between the seeker and that supreme consciousness. So it's a mutual presence. I see mind recognizes me as an individual. At the same time, I'm also recognizing that expanded higher consciousness. So that brings a beautiful relationship between the two in the beginning of a meditation. And when it happens, obviously it indicates a higher state of meditation. That is what the 29th and 30th verse. In the verse number 31, then it says, what is this? It is unity in recognition, constant presence of that expanded consciousness. But why we are entering into this another form of reality? Because the mind should have an uninterrupted experience of this expanded consciousness. Uninterrupted means the mind does not pose any limitation. Any limitation is caused by the false I. The false I lives in ignorance and then delusion, and then we have foolishness, and then we have attachment and detachment. So, in the verse number 31, the Master is pointing out that you have to continue the journey. What is the result in 32nd verse is all about equanimity, equal vision. Equanimity or equal vision. Language is limited. When I say there is no center of the consciousness, it is all pervading, it is one, is represented by the word equanimity. So what happens with the equanimity? You have your mind perceives the pain in others, for example, the pain in the crawling, but now your consciousness perceives that pain in ignorance, and behind that there is a one consciousness. So that manifests into empathy or compassion, what Buddha is talking about.
Did
So
you
Did
ever
you ever
have,
have,
or I don't
or I
know,
don't
is it
know, is it
normal to
normal to
have
have
challenges of
challenges of
taking
taking
on
on
emotions of
emotions of
others
others
without
without
realizing that
realizing
you've
that
done
you've done
so?
so? In the beginning, I had lot, and because the emotional mind, not empathetic mind, the sympathetic mind, because of the past impression, wants to be concerned, wants to take care. So when the sympathetic mind means attached mind. So obviously I used to have, but now I don't have that. That is very clear. Yes, I have to be empathetic. I could see that there is only one reality, one consciousness, one real self in all, and that pain and problem and duality and a conflict is because of the ignorance. So when I see, oh, is it possible to remove the ignorance? Well, depending on the situation, depending on the situation. But now it doesn't hurt. Yes, in the beginning it was very, uh, it was. I told you, I think in my 35 or 36 years, and then I had one guy who said there are a lot of challenges in my where I'm living, and the kids are not studying. So I said, okay, I will go with you, accompany with you. In those days, I had a big, you can say, a big ego of helping others. You may have a big ego of helping others. I could recognize much later. So then I started teaching those kids in that slum area. There were 40, 50 kids. So I used to finish my job. It was 1 hour drive. I didn't have the car, so I used to drive by a bus. I used to, and from 8 to 11, I'm teaching in the night. 12, I'm reaching home and then eating the food and then get ready early in the morning. I did it for 3 years. I had a lung infection, very severe lung infection. To tell you that I had to send my son to my in law's house, that he should also not be infected. And because I was doing it, so I didn't tell my master. When I told my master, he said, "You are a crazy guy. Do you want to prove that you are a spiritual person? Stop this nonsense."
There must
There
have been a
must have been a
reason you
reason
weren't
you weren't
telling him,
telling him,
right?
right?
You
You
probably
probably
knew.
knew. Yeah, I knew that, I'd taken for granted that this is what my master taught me, so I'm doing it. He said, "You're crazy." And then he made me recognize that you have to have a very subtler level of contemplation and reflection. Continue doing this self inquiry. Why exactly you are doing it? It is the empathy that is coming out, helping for the sake of helping, not helping for the sake of building something. It has nothing to do with the building something. One wave is helping the other. What it means? For water, it means nothing.
Mhm.
So then when I left it and I realized much later, oh, this is what the master is saying. So that is why the listening and learning is very important in the journey. Why? Nobody tells you in any any branch of the science. We start with that you have a false eye and you have a real eye. Nobody tells you. Modern psychology, they talk of different things. You are depressed, you are into anxiety. We say no, that depression and anxiety is caused by the minds. It is false eye, but you are the real eye. That real eye doesn't change. So if that is very much settled by understanding, by the intellect first. It is not settled as simply another conditioning. No, you realize that when you don't have the anxiety, the falsa is not there, the, there is no outcome, you are already calm and relaxed. So it is not the anxiety management, it is a recognition that they belong to the false side.
I
Yes.
had a, I was struck by a moment of not intellectually, but realizing that this is in a way not real because it is temporary. And I could almost in my mind's eye see how things are kind of hazy in the sense that they're not going to stay. And therefore, like it was hard to really give them a lot of solid reality because I was like, oh yeah, this is, I could, if I'm eternity, then this transience
Yeah.
is of changing that you could almost, it's changing very fast if you're around forever. It's not permanent at all. Uh,
And
what
you
an
live
interesting and free feeling to feel.
and you live into that state of the calmness. If you We have already understood the first chapter, and just check that Arjuna lived in the modern age, in this age, current age. Now he is explaining to his friend. At present, the Krishna is his friend. So, what exactly he is saying? He is saying it is a battlefield of career, torn between the ambition and ethical dilemma. What is ethical? Why should I kill my cat and kill my relations? That is the one conflict in the mind. Second conflict, that we have a battlefield of relationship, feeling pulled between the love, duty, and expectations. That is what we all suffer from in the modern age. If you look very clearly, when you contemplate and reflect, you come, yeah, it is the same problem. How much relevant the state of the Krishna and Arjuna. We are living in Arjuna life, battlefield of career, of torn between the ambition and ethical dilemma. There is another problem, the battlefield of relationship, feeling pulled between love, duty, and expectations, and the battlefield of self, questioning the purpose of existence. So that is why Arjuna said, I will go to the Himalayas and become a monk and practice there. We have already covered in fourth and fifth chapter. What you are talking about, why you are asking me to fight. So you see the dilemma, exactly the same dilemma we all have in the modern life. So what is this? We are going into the another 3 and 4 verses, but I have to lay a foundation for that. So what exactly, if we contemplate and reflect, we find there is a conflict between values and desires. I have my own desires, and the values are there which I inherited from the society, from the culture, from the religion. So there is a lot of conflict between the values and the desires. So sometimes values pulls me and sometimes the desires pull. No, I have to exist. I have to survive. What should I do? So now think that maybe like you, like an entrepreneur, may struggle with making a decision that benefits the organization but harms some employees. Can you recall your accountant? You said I told him to go. You see, it's so relevant. The more you contemplate and reflect, you say, yes, it's how much relevant. So a person may feel conflicted about pursuing a lucrative job and a career that compromises my integrity and my values. What should I do? So the Gita answers the fear of change and uncertainty. Then there is another problem, the fear of change and the uncertainty. I experience that this is changing, this should not change. I want to press and push and pull that this should not change. But what is changing, it will continue to change. what Now you see that you are so relaxed. Whatever is changing, it has to change. My anxiety changes. It was not there before. It is there now. It will not be there. Why should I hooked onto this? No reason.
Yeah,
And
so when we fight what is, right? That's when we experience sorrow in most cases, right? And I watch people, probably me too, in
yep.
denial or fighting reality, thinking we're gonna like make our own or bend it, and we just bang our head against the wall of reality, right? It's
One
interesting.
guy just before in the previous session asked me a question, so I gave him the example that you are living with a partner. You bought a new couch. Now the honey says that on the left side of the room it look better. You say that it is on the right side it looks better. Now your mind goes into the memory lane. I'm earning everything. I bought a couch. What the heck you are saying? Put it on the right side. You created an anxiety for yourself. What should you do? What should you do? There is no reason, whether the couch you put on the right or the left side. Oh, left side. Wonderful, honey. You have done a good job. Within after few days, you may recognize what is wrong, so you can change it.
Or recognize you were wrong, right?
Or recognize that why you are attached to it. Why you
Yeah.
are attached to it. So the same thing happens. Now I'm explaining the fear of losing a job or for failing into a new venture, hesitation to end a toxic relationship because of uncertainty about the future. I don't want to end the toxic relationship because I'm not living in the present, I'm living in the future. And that is the majority of the cases people divorce. I'm not looking into the challenges today, here and now in the present moment because caused by my own mind.
I notice the only time I get really mad or upset with Carlene is when I project the future and I don't see a change and I start to get fear, right? I can see like, oh, my upset. Right now it's fine, but I'm like projecting a future that's
Yes, yes, yes.
brings fear into the picture, and now all of a sudden I'm mad and scared and attached and everything, right? And if you just recognize it, it falls away, right? Almost instantly, but could see it.
My dad has a fear that's why he pushed me to study science, and it happened good for me. But ultimately, from the science, I return again to the same stuff. What is the Eastern wisdom? He was a great scholar. He did his PhD from the best university. Was teaching, and then he said there is nothing in it. Better do you study the science. I return again. Now see, now he is no more. He died in 89. He was insisting me to do this. I'm doing the same thing. Maybe last year I had one thought, had my had my father alive and he should have seen it. These are chains. For fear of losing, hesitation to end the toxic relationship, reluctance to leave one's comfort zone. That comfort zone is created by the false side. So once you drop it, you are free. What she is doing, it is for her. What you are doing, it is for you. She will continue to live into that state of reaction and anxiety. You are growing and living into the state of the calmness and peace. So, what happens here? There is another, uh, I'm summarizing the four verses in a different way because that will give you a deeper insight. The burden of expectations. Lot of burden we have. What Arjuna had the burden of expectation. Obviously, he was never defeated in any war. He was recognized as the greatest warrior. So I have a burden of expectation. Arjuna feels the weight of living up to the expectations of his family. Are you living up to the
Yeah, people will
expectations
tell
of?
me you're a great businessman or this and that, and I think like, oh, don't put
Yeah,
that. I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want that. Leave that. I don't. I'll show up and do what I can. I don't want to think
Thank
about
you.
that every minute.
Thank you, and I appreciate you. Yeah, thank you. I'm a great guy. Yes, yes, thank you very much. But internally, you say, okay, I know what I am. You see, this is what is going to happen. A professional feels pressure to meet the societal standards of success, of wealth, of status, and accolades. One guy contacted me on the LinkedIn and he said, I have taken an interview of one of the greatest speakers in US. He told me some name and he asked me, do you know? I said, no, I don't know.
Like a podcaster or something.
Yeah, podcaster. And or
Hmm.
a speaker, keynote speaker. I said, I don't know. Now I could see his face expression. I interviewed a greatest speaker, but I didn't know that. So why should I say that I know? And then
Try
he
telling a
said,
famous person you don't know who they are. They
"Oh
get
yeah,
real worked up.
no, so I will put you on the map." I said, "What is your intention? You tell me, and accordingly I will work." So you want to take my interview? Yes, you can take my interview. I have no problem. But don't show me those dreams, because I have studied Eastern wisdom. Yes, I have spoken at different platform. He never returned back because his idea, his that is the burden of expectations. Parents feel the constant strain of fulfilling roles as a perfect caregivers. Come on, do the best. Karma yoga, do the best and forget it. But we don't want to do the best. We want to impose what is best, even we are not the best. That is the burden of expectations. And that causes lot of challenges. Then it creates a false identification is there. And once you have those identifications, it causes lot of problems.
I told Carlene last night, I said, don't do that thing for me because first of all, I don't want that. I want you to want it and do it. And also, if you get mad at me or start to hate me, then you're going to go back on that thing. Like, don't make me the part that makes it work, you know? Take me out of the equation and do it for you. But I could see, like, wait, that's going to be my thing. I don't, now I'm going to have to maintain that for her.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
thought that is not healthy.
That process is known as the silent witness. So when you are able to maintain a silence witness, you are able to see the play of your relations, of your kids and of your parents, etc., all around you, but not affected by them. I asked Carlin, why you have returned again? Just by amusing and no, I always feel calm and relaxed and quiet when I continue to do your sessions. I said, but I'm all very tough on you. Oh, that is why I feel the calm and peace. I said, okay, okay. So there is something which is happening inside. It will manifest much later. I don't know when it is going to manifest. So what is happening now? See the other problem. There is a search for external validation. So it means external validation. It is coming from the false side. I'm summarizing the next 3 and 4 verses. So Arjuna seeks the reassurance from the Krishna to justify his actions, reflecting the human tendency to seek external approval. And that is the greatest problem. I told you that I deleted entirely the Facebook, completely deleted. So my team in India was saying that, we have kept it. I said, I told you to delete it. I don't want any impression to remain, because if you are saying that, we have kept reservation so we can revive it, I said, I don't want to revive it. Finished.
Yeah.
Why don't you understand it? Or we will do it. So now the last week it was removed. So you see that when you search for external validation, what happens? What happens to the mind and the false eye? You have an obsession with the likes, comments, shares. Either you say in a social media, the virtual society, or the real society that we talk about our relationships. We depend on the praise from all around, family, a continuous chase for external success that is going through.
Yeah, and the praise on there too is only to get praised, right? No one's mean to each other because no one wants a bad comment, so it's all fake anyways. Like where everyone's praising each other so they can get a praise on their next post, and it's a big, what a big disappointment setup.
Big disappointment. Now you see, you are inside something, you are outside something, and now you have to struggle with the inner demons. You become a sinner. You create an unfavorable conditions in your life. It is self-sabotaging thoughts. Oh, you appreciated me, but I'm not good enough. Instant your intellect says, no, I'm not good enough. I was frustrated. But anyhow, he appreciated me. What if I fail? I have deep seated fears. So, if whatever those fears in the past, they will continue. And there is an inability to forgive oneself or others. Why? Oh, you have appreciated me when I failed, and now you are not appreciating when I succeeded. So the parameters of the success in your head and in others' head are different. So you see that now you are totally confused. In that state, the Master Krishna, I have talked about it many a times. Krishna says you are important. You have no sense. You are senseless. Why? In what happens in that case? What happens in that case when we have an inner conflict? Then I get addicted to the worldly pleasures. I hook myself on something outside, getting something. I keep on it. I continue to keep addicted to it. Overindulgence in material possessions and in entertainment are substances to escape reality. One guy who attends the session, he said, did I tell you? He went to a restaurant, yes, and to dine alone. But before he could order the next table, he saw three beautiful girls. And now he is attracted. He is quite young, in his 30s, he is still single. And he sat during the entire dining period of half an hour. My mind was constantly thinking about these girls. But the best part happened when he came out of that restaurant. He addressed his mind, oh crazy mind, that beer guy taught me. This is what you did. And he was sitting in the car and he called me and he said, now I am relaxed. I said, there is a sign of progress, at least you recognized. You recognized even after coming out of the restaurant. So there is a lot of sensuality and infatuation, lot of attachment. Addiction is there. So sometimes I want to feel myself great because you look how strong I am. Obviously, everyone in their 30s are stronger. So I told him, he said, what? I said, this is what happens. Do you want me to dine in the same restaurant looking at the same girl and thinking that I'm very strong? So you are attached. Oh, this is known as an attachment. Yes. And this is an addiction. Yes. So I'm taking extra care to my body. I go to the gym. I want to look smart. I said, you are obsessed with the body. You are addicted to the body. Oh, yes, he was totally quiet. So what is happening? You see all the points that I mentioned. I'm searching for a meaning in a chaotic world which is constantly changing, which is not possible. You will continue to suffer. You will continue to suffer until you die. So I'm searching for a meaning in a constantly changing world, either I can say, or in a chaotic world which is constantly changing. I went to the restaurant, I got attracted, I returned home, and I'm watching the TV. I'm watching the TV. There I see some soap opera, and I get hooked to it. This is what is happening in our life. So people question their place in the world filled with chaos, inequality, and the suffering. I will never find equality. I will never find equanimity. It has to start from inside. A sense of meaninglessness in a repetitive routine or jobs that don't align with my passion. I'm a non seeker.
I realize in my body that I don't know what's going on in my body at all, but yet I seem to think I do. But like if I look at the washing machine,
Yeah.
I know as much about that as I do about this. I don't know my digestion or my heart or my blood. I looked at my body, I was like, I don't know what's happening in there. Yet I'm somehow I get mixed up that it's mine and I am I am it. Like how is that? I don't have any familiarity with it other than I'm close to it.
Take
I
care of the
don't
machine.
control anything.
Take care of the machine, repair and maintain without identifying with the body. I think I did talk, but I will talk another. We have four levels of identifications. First level of identification with the body. I'm tall, I'm short, I'm smart, I'm white, I'm black, etc. Long list. My nose is very good, my eyes, these belongs to the girls and the women. Second identification, body with the sense organs. No, identification with the sense organ. Third identification, I'll talk in detail about this whenever the situation comes. The third identification is with the mind. I am rich and poor. Rich and poor. Why you are rich? $1 million in a bank account. Poor, I don't have that much of money in my account. But how it affects me? No, it has no effect. It has to affect the bank, not me. So identification with the mind, and then the fourth identification with the ego or the I thought. But when I have these identifications in my life, then what happens? I deny. What I deny, what is real. What is real, that body takes the birth and body will die. Body is healthy today, body is going to be sick tomorrow. If, the state of the body is in a dynamic state. So now when I recognize and realize that I'm the real self, which is neither born, so the fear of death is gone. Fear of death is gone. So I deny lot what is real. So that is why I enter into the confusion and a conflict. Master says this is all happening because of the ignorance. This is happening because of the ignorance, and I told you the RSM syndrome. So the our seeker, we learning from this seeker. Can you think that had Arjuna not been in the history of Eastern wisdom, we should not have learned the wisdom from Krishna? So we are grateful to Arjuna that you are explaining the same situation which I am also living. I want to get rid of it. So some many masters always talk. Are we ready to listen to our inner Krishna? Now I'm saying in a different word. Krishna is inside. Krishna is the supreme consciousness. Ultimate Guru is seated in the heart. So, am I ready to listen to my inner Krishna and rise above the battlefield of life? That makes us a seeker. That makes us a seeker. That makes us a seeker. Now, I want to give you another metaphor. The wheels of the car is flat. Steering and paddle are difficult to move and press, and the driver is drunkard. That's Krishna gives you the same metaphor, and Krishna borrowed this metaphor from the highest text, which is Upanishad. So I'm just making it very simple. Driver is drunkard. The steering is very hard to move. If you move on the right side and the car moves on the left side because of the wheels are flat, now it is the same situation in which this young guy went when he was sitting in a restaurant. Why the wheels are sense organs and the mind is the steering and the driver is the intellect, which offers you the power of discernment and dispassion. But I'm drunkard, so power of dispassion and discernment will not be there. Think. So it means what? Whenever we have anxiety, duality, and a conflict, this is the situation. The driver is drunkard, and the steering is not working properly, and the wheels are flat. Wheels are flat, I cannot move, so I stick to my point of view, my attachment, my duality, my conflict. There is a problem.
That reminds me of last night. Carly and I were having, I would say, a disagreement,
Yeah.
and she was saying like, "Oh, you don't listen to me, or you don't, understand me, so you react to me." And I said the exact same thing, right, in my own way. And then I said, "Hold up, look how ridiculous. Just stop for a second and look. I'm saying exactly what you're saying, but to you, you're right, right? And then I'm right. We're saying the same exact thing. How are we so certain that we're right? Right? Are you so certain that you're correct? Right? And I was thinking, like, how funny. We're just sitting here both thinking we're exactly the opposite correctness. Right? And I'm like, what are the odds that either of us are right? Probably really low. And I said, what if we just agree to disagree at least? But I could see the ridiculousness of.
Mind is when the mind is diluted, you say something but you mean something else. That is another example of a delusion. In a group session, I always ask everyone to share their experiences. So, one guy who attends the Saturday's session for the last 1 year, when I call his name, he says, I have nothing to ask. I'm asking you to share your experiences, and you tell me that I have nothing to ask. So today I teased him, and he said, that is what you are saying, sir, because I have nothing to ask. I said, yes, yes, I have understood. I have understood. I've understood. Everyone is laughing. He sees that. Group session, you see each and every participant. And then they realize that what this beer guy said, oh, no, you are good. You're good. You're good. I stopped the conversation. So I know he wanted to share something. I said nothing to share when you have not understood yourself clearly. I'm asking you to share your experiences after the practice. And you are every session for the last 1 year. Now he will blame me definitely, and I'm ready to accept that blame that no changes has taken place. Yes, you're right. Because you did not change for the last 1 year.
Still can't. Still doesn't hear the question.
You doesn't hear. So now, when you live into that discernment and a discussion following these principles, you need not to hook yourself, you need not to be attached to all those things.
Well, even last night, Carlene wanted to keep fighting. She didn't really hear what I was trying to say, right? So I said, "You know what? You're right. Actually, I get it now. I see. Yeah, you're right. I was saying what you were saying, but we're actually saying the same thing." And she goes, "See, I told you." I thought, okay, whatever, but I realized I was like, "Oh, she doesn't understand what I'm saying." I thought it was very obvious, and I was thought, "Okay, well, oh well, I'll leave it."
We remove those impressions also from mind. You are right. Thank you very much. My mind is. Are you clear? Yes. But why it does not happen? Because I'm consumed by attachment. Maybe my family, my relationship, my identity as a warrior. That is what happened to the Arjuna. Krishna advises, do your duty without attachment to the results. Are you following me? And that is why it took almost two more chapters on the karma yoga. He said, no, understand it clearly. Do your job. Don't go to the Himalayas. Don't sit only just by meditation, everything will happen. No, you have to apply these principles in your life. Then the master points out that you have to trust in a higher wisdom. It is your intellect which is understanding, and you can use the intellect to make your mind understand. Again and again, repetition is required. If you don't repeat, it will not happen. You have to tell Carlin, you should be ready to say, Carlin, you are right 1 million times. Don't get upset. Don't get upset. Because if you get upset, you are already consumed by the attachment. What happens, after 5 or 6 times? I told you that, why don't you understand? So I'm building a case. No, I have not to build that case of not understanding. When I can tolerate this guy for last 1 year, and he has a pet statement. I have nothing to ask, sir. Meditation was good. And I said, okay, very good. So that now you see how Arjuna in the first and the second chapter was insisting on putting the thoughts how he is right. And Krishna brushed aside him in the second chapter. You are the real self, you are not the false I. You are important if you continue to live with that. With that, with that clarity in our head, we should now understand we should never leave the liberate model where we investigate, continue to investigate through the intellect, help the mind to settle, and gradually it will be settled. So in the verse number 32, now the Arjuna, you are talking of perfect equanimity, you are talking of universal empathy, you are talking of equal vision towards all experiences, you are talking of this is the supreme state of yoga. Supreme state of yoga here it is meditation. Why you are talking, I can think of it, Arjuna. You're looking into the Arjuna mind to achieve the highest state of realization, to develop complete non discrimination, or you to complete highest level of discernment, to reach to the highest spiritual attainment. These are the questions. Now I understand that I already have in mind because I've already studied, I've already understood you in the last five chapters. Now Arjuna says, by seeing others' joy and pain as one's own, uh, through comparing others' experiences to self. This is what you are saying, that if I live into that, You have already answered me how. Through seeing self everywhere, that is another answer you gave me. By maintaining balance in pleasure and pain, that is another answer you gave me. I like it. Through, you see that how Arjuna is asking is now he has become a great seeker. So he agrees to what he has understood. So he is sharing the experiences, what I have understood, I'm telling you. Through complete identifications from the others is causing the lot of problems, so I have not to identify with. You are right. You're right. You're right. But the master is, Arjuna is saying, come on, it all comes down to the mind, and the mind is extremely difficult to contain. So, after explaining each and every aspect, Arjuna is saying that your teaching is a waste. Your teaching is that is what many people in the world says, I have done meditation for 10 years, nothing happened, that's why I left it. You have done it wrongly. You have done it out of ignorance. Master is going to answer that this is, say for example, you are doing a job, you are an entrepreneur, and you keep on earning money, you have a luxurious lifestyle, and now what happens? Still you find some void is there inside you. Now you something happened to the company, to the organization, and now you want to support it, you want to prevent it, and you are not able to prevent. Then your mind says, I can't do this. I can't do this. Why I can't do this? Because I had seen the luxurious lifestyle with lot of addictions and attachments. Before that, I never thought I did not have that kind of a lifestyle. So I'm totally attached to what I'm seeking, and that is ultimately it is causing you lot of problem. Arjuna is asking why this is happening. I was never defeated in any war. I had lot of appreciation from everyone. Now if the people see me that I'm a failure, how to prevent that? No, don't feel that the society will tell you that you are a failure. Stand on your feet. Change your mindset. Find the real self. Everything will happen by its own. No, people have been appreciating me that you are the best businessman. You succeeded in that. It is
That's a
like
dangerous spot. Oh, I got
yes. So it is like, so master is saying, so now if there is a modern Krishna, he will say you have a responsibility to the organization and the hundreds of employees who depend on the success. Your role isn't to harm but to guide with integrity and compassion. Continue doing karma yoga. Detach yourself from the personal emotion and focus on the larger impact. Did you understand? Modern Krishna says. But modern Arjuna is stick to one thing. I had no success. I worked so much hard. False ego. I succeeded. Yes, I succeeded. So after success, I have to live a luxurious lifestyle. Why I have to live a luxurious style? Because inner void. I didn't know my real self. So I have to fill everything from the outside. So I'm frustrated. Now I'm frustrated. So it is the result of your actions. It is the result of your action. So the master now in that state, the master is asking, continue doing it. You act with a clarity now. Get rid of the attachment. You call each, say for example, you call each affected employee personally explaining the reason behind the decision. and offering support in finding new opportunities. That is Karma Yoga. Living as an organizational chief. So the battlefield of work will always be there in the it was there when Arjuna was living. It is also there. It will be here today. It will be tomorrow. That continue. It is because it is related to the world outside. Who knows? Now online hacking, someone hacks everything and finished. Now you continue to chase the banks and find out how to get it back. And then there's a lot of confusion. No, you did it, and no, I did not do it. So the battlefield of work is always there outside. It is the weapon of perspective in your life. Everything is changing, so this has happened, so let me treat it calmly. Detachment with compassion is there. When the detachment with the compassion is there, I will definitely bring the peace. Now see, Arjuna feeling in these words, this is all very well, Krishna, my master, this is all very well. But you are saying something which is an utopian dream. I think it is just wishful thinking. I'm using the modern word. It is a good idea, you said. It is only an idea, it cannot be applied. But I'm sorry, my master, I don't think this is for me. After learning for 6 chapters, we still have the memories of the past impression, and the past impression causes that delusion, and I come up with questioning these principles. That is this verse is so good. I can talk and talk, but Arjuna then feels hopelessly what he feels inside. Based on this verse, he feels that I'm hopelessly disqualified. So he uses the 3 words Pramati Balvat Dridham. Krishna, now he challenges the Krishna of his teaching. Don't you see the mind is turbulent? Don't you see the crazy mind is so strong? It throws out the anger, it throws out the fight, it throws strong mind. Don't you see the negative strong mind? Here it is. And the third part, he says unyielding. Ultimately, the result is unyielding. What the heck you are talking about? You are talking of utopian dream, of equanimity, of balance, of calmness. You are saying that all are one. What the heck you are talking about? So we realize here, we perceive that it has come from his past impression. I have some bad experiences with an elephant. So I had a thought prompted. You are sitting on an orange tree and teasing an elephant. The elephant is going to crush the entire orange tree and you will die. Don't tease the elephant sitting on an orange tree. Not possible. So sitting on an orange tree is that I continue with my past impressions and attachment in the false side. So the Arjuna is asking, he said, very turbulent. Don't you see mind is very turbulent? It is like the elephant is uprooting the bananas plantation. It is so turbulent. It is very strong. It is unyielding. It is unyielding. What exactly you are saying? Arjuna says, I am very realistic. Master, you are not. So he still wants to escape. Can the mind really be compared to these examples? The answer is yes. So Arjuna is adding more spices. He brings to his support the powerful, fantastic simile of uncontrollable mind. That is the metaphor he uses. The wind is uncontrollable. Even a small wind can bring down the curtains, topple a few chairs in the house. We already know about we face storm every year in US. What to speak of a gale force, typhoons. What is happening? We have to be very clear. Here, this metaphor seems to be dictating my thought process. I'm not looking, I'm calm and relaxed. I'm not looking, I had a very good and sound sleep yesterday. I'm not, I don't want to be aware that now I have brought this organization or company, now it is running. And it was not smooth, but now it is smooth. I'm not looking that. I'm just giving a metaphor. You have you seen the wind is uncontrollable? In typhoon, in storm, we don't control the wind. We save ourselves. So he's saying that delusion and ignorance is so deep in the mind. My intellect has been dictated by the mind. My intellect is dictated by the mind, and the mind has become the worst master. I used that verse before that. My mind has become the worst master, and the worst master will play with you.
I've got to run here in a minute, by the way. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, yeah, we will take up the next verse, but Krishna says that yes, how uncontrollable the mind is. He simply answers, still you can control it. How? By regular practice and dispassion. If you study, you have, I think I taught you in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. What is the practice? Practice is regular practice plus dispassion. If the dispassion is not there, you cannot achieve the result. Dispassion comes from the discernment. Discernment is nothing but the self inquiry. By the self inquiry, you remove the impurity of the mind and ultimately you reach the result. So, we will talk about it in our, we'll discuss